Are you guys tired of basic movement in Dead by Daylight? Do you want something different? Do you have nothing else to master in this game? Do you want to learn some more advanced movement techniques? Well, hopefully in this video, guys, I'll be able to teach you some more advanced movements in Dead by Daylight. We're going to start from the basics, which is basic 360s, all the way to the Ayrun tech and the reverse Ayrun tech. So I'm going to be splitting this video into 8 sections, the first being the most basic and the 8 being the most advanced. The first section is going to be the basic movement, which is the 360, wind up, flicking and bait with the 360. The second section is the basic moonwalk, backwards moonwalking, catching 360s. The third section is how to turn whilst moonwalking. The fourth section is integrating flashlights into 360s and moonwalks. The fifth section is static 360s. Sixth is the sideways moonwalk. The seventh section is the diagonal moonwalk, and the eighth section is the Ayrun tech and the reverse Ayrun tech. So hopefully, guys, I can teach you something new that you didn't know already. And if you do know most of these, or even all of these, hopefully you can share it with somebody that doesn't know or wants to learn any of these techniques. So yeah, let's get straight into section 1. Alright, so if you're here in section 1, then you are wanting to learn how to 360 in Dead by Daylight. So this is the most basic of the list. I've listed each section going from top to bottom of easiest to hardest. So if you're here, you want to learn the most basic, you want to learn how to 360. And yeah, so okay, so to start off with 360 in Dead by Daylight, you want to get used to the very basic maneuvers. You want to learn how to control your character. So if you see my keyboard in the bottom right, you can see my maneuvers. Basically, you just want to start with this maneuver, WDSA. So get used to doing this without, if you do it too fast, your character's going to do this. You want a nice fluid motion. Try it the other way as well. And basically to 360, you want to move the camera the opposite way you're going. So if I'm going clockwise, I'm going right. So when you're going right, you want to move your mouse left. So kind of like this. So if you go right, you want to move your mouse left. And if you go left, you want to move your mouse right. So just learn to do this slowly. Get them like the feel for it, you know, get like the rhythm, and then add a shift in there and start speeding it up a little bit, and then do the same the other way. You might feel a lot of people that I know are more comfortable 360 in one way, whether it be anti-clockwise or clockwise. Personally, I think clockwise is much more comfortable for me to 360, but depending on whatever, I would make sure you definitely practice both ways, because you're going to get into some weird situations where, you know, sometimes you're not going to be able to go clockwise, you're going to have to go anti-clockwise. And yeah, like I said, depending on your sensitivity, I play a very low sensitivity, and actually it doesn't really make a lot of sense because I don't have a lot of mouse room. A higher sensitivity means you can go for flicks, and that's what we're going to talk about as well in just a minute. But first I want to talk about the wind-ups. So after you've got this motion down of going clockwise and anti-clockwise on the mouse, so like left on the mouse, right on the player, add a sprint in there, and this is basically the motion of the 360. So you 360 one way, you're moving the other way with your mouse, as you can see. So basically, this is what I like to call the wind-up. I've not heard anyone else ever call it the wind-up. I feel like this is just something that me and my friends have always called it. But basically the wind-up is like you turn into the 360. So instead of just going like this, like crazy straight away, you slowly like sprint, turn into it, and then you start 360. So you do a little wind-up. You start holding shift about, like, I would say a quarter into the turn. So you start and then you start to spin, right? So you're not just standing still and then just go like this. You have to wind up and get your character there. So basically you want to try and practice this as well. So as you're practicing this as usual, try and practice walking, and then you shift and start to like get that momentum into the spin, if that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully it does. I don't really know. Hopefully. But yeah, let's talk about flicking as well. So after you've got used to the basic movement and the wind up that I just told you about, once you start getting this motion like quite consistently, let's start about flicking. Flicking is a lot harder on lower senses, but you can still do it. Basically, I'm going to turn my DPI up just for this, because yeah, flicking is a lot easier. Basically, you don't want to be just doing this same 360 motion, right? Sometimes you want to throw the killer off with a nice quick movement. So basically, if you're going to 360, this is what a flick looks like. Oh, not that. This is what a flick looks like. It's when you flick your mouse quickly to get a flick. This is what it consistently looks like. To be honest, my sensitivity, I don't play this high sensitivity, so it's a bit weird for me, but you basically flick your mouse in a direction quickly to try and get a, like, you know, you want to move your character quick. You want to move your character fast around the killer if they're just about to like hit you after a lunge. So you got to practice your flicks as well if you want to add a bit more, like, I guess, motion into your spin. So instead of just, you know, just doing the basic spin like this, you can add a quick flick in there as well. Or you can turn direction, quick flick. I'm not the best at flicking, but I do understand it. I just play with a lot lower sense, but I could get used to it actually. Okay, so practice all of these. Practice the basic 360 like I said at the start. WDSA, 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 and then move the mouse left. Remember, if your character's going right, your mouse is going left. It's going the opposite direction of which way you're moving in game. So I'm going right, mouse goes left. If I'm going left, mouse is going right. Add shift in there. Keep doing the same thing. WASD going left with shift on. Mouse goes right. You get this motion. So let's say I'm being chased by a killer right now. Yeah, he's gonna lunge at me. I can either go for a quick spin around him, or I can do, if you have enough distance and you think you can throw the killer off, we're going to talk about baiting. So basically, if the killer's chasing me, you want to bait. So you run in one direction, so to make them bait into lunging at you. So if I'm running this way and I go like this, if the killer is not very experienced, or, you know, they don't know how you play yet, maybe this works once on a killer, but once it's going to save you from getting hit potentially, or give you some time. So you sprinting, you run left, and then you spin, and you spin right. So let's do it in a quicker motion. So I'm running away, go left, spin right. So hopefully the killer's going to lunge over here, and you're going to spin around him, because you're going to be going the other way. So you're going to be running, quick left, spin the other way, right? And if you have a high sense and you want to put some flicking into it, you can go left, quick flick, and you're gone. That wasn't the best 360 right there, but you get the idea, right? You're running left, 360 round. You're running, you go right, spin left. Or if you really want to mix up, you can go like right, left, spin. I'm not the best at doing that, but you have to be very quick. But you can go D, A, D, A, D, A. While you let go of S, you quickly tap S and then let go. As you go, change directions. This is kind of like more of an advanced maneuver, and it kind of, I don't know, a lot of killers ain't going to fall for it, to be honest. It kind of looks fancy if you do juke montages or something, but this is the main thing with 360ing, right? So yeah, we've basically spoke about the basic movement of the 360. So like I said again, I'm going to keep reminding you guys. I know I'm being repetitive, but I want to remind you so it sticks in your head. So WDSA, right, move your mouse left. WASD, move your mouse right. So WDSA left, WASD right. Add a shift in there, keep doing that motion. If you want a quick flick, you get a quick flick on your mouse as you're doing it. Just make sure you don't do it too fast like I was doing then. If you do it too fast, this is what's going to happen. You want to get that motion so you're going round in a circle like this. And as you're flicking, you can actually do WASD faster, or WDSA depending on what direction you're going in, because you're moving your camera a lot quicker. So you can actually, like, as you can see on the keyboard there, I'm doing it much quicker than I usually would be. But yeah, if you do it too quick, sometimes you can do that, like you just saw, where it looks like I'm running on the spot and I've run a little bit backwards. That is actually, I don't know if that has a name, but I've actually juked a few killers with that, like, by accident. But yeah, there we go, guys. That's the quick 360 tutorial. Hopefully you learned something from this. If not, I'm sorry, but I'm trying my best here. I've never really done a tutorial, but I've played this game for a couple of thousand hours now, so, you know, I want to bring some of my knowledge to you guys. And yeah, next is the second section of my guide, and we're going to be talking about the basic moonwalk and the backwards moonwalk and catching a 360. Okay, we're here, guys, on section 2. If you are here for section 2, then you're wanting to learn basic moonwalk, backwards moonwalk, and catching a 360. So first, we're going to start with the basic moonwalk. And how do we moonwalk? So basically, you will need to know how to 360. So if you don't already know how to 360, then make sure you watch section 1. Because you will have to do the same motion as a 360 to build into the moonwalk. Moonwalking, if you don't know, looks a little bit like this. And basically how it works is you don't allow your character to turn around, and you kind of like stop the animation from happening. So you're basically running like this, like a moonwalk, right? Self-explanatory, really. But how do we perform a moonwalk? Right, so if you look at my keyboard on the right, you want to start off with the same motion we were doing with the 360. So let's say we're doing WDSA, WDSA. With shift, you want to stop, and you want to catch it when you're, let's say like your butt is facing forward, right? Basically, when you are spinning in this motion, you want to stop and catch it in the direction you want to go. So if I want to go forwards and I'm spinning, I want to catch it here. So get used to this motion, and then basically you want to press A and D like this. The best way to get used to moonwalking is just try and learn this motion here. Just do A and D. You don't do it too fast and you don't do it too slow. If you do it like too fast like this, like I'll show you. If I try moonwalk and I do A and D really fast, it's just going to push me out of it. And if I do it too slow, well, it's obvious, it's just going to push me out of it. You want to get a nice rhythm in between. You want to not too fast, not too slow. Something a little bit like this. I thought it was going to go bad then when I was trying to show you. But yeah, you want a nice rhythm, so you... Yeah, I'm... Okay. I didn't want to stop. I wanted to see how long I could go, to be honest. But basically, if you start off with this motion, just AD, 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 this is going to teach you the rhythm of what you're going to need to do when you moonwalk. So basically, if you start off with a spin, catch, AD, AD, I'll try that again. So spin like you would a 360, and then you have to keep holding shift, and then AD, AD, while you're still holding W. You let go of S completely, you don't touch S, you hold W. You always hold W and then you tap AD, AD, AD. So like this, AD, 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 while you're holding W. So let's do that again. So we're winding up, we'll do the wind up into the 360, catch, so you catch there. That's what I like to call the catch. Right, when you're about to go into the direction you want to be moonwalking. So spin, catch, catch, AD, 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 holding shift and W the whole time. AD, 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 blah blah blah. You get what I'm saying. A lot of AD, AD, AD. And trust me guys, I may be making it look easy, but when I first learnt to moonwalk it took me a hell of a long time to get it consistent. But you can just jump into the tutorial if you don't have any friends. Luckily I have a brother that helped me. Shout out. You can join the tutorials and you can practice there. So if you're solo. But yeah, basically just get used to that motion, learn the 360. Once you got the 360, try the catch, AD, AD. You're always holding shift and always holding W. So this is the basic moonwalk. Well, this is what you call the backwards moonwalk. The basic moonwalk is actually the other direction. Practicing this motion, guys. The AD, AD, AD. Spin in. Spin, wind up, wind up, wind up. Catch, catch, AD, AD. That wasn't very good. I'm looking at my OBS screen instead of my actual screen, so let me try and get a good one. But you get the gist. Moonwalking, don't expect to get it straight away, because I promise you now, if you've never done a moonwalk, you don't know how to moonwalk and you're here to learn and how to master it. Trust me, it does not come like that. Even 360ing, like I make it look easy, I guess. I mean, well, I say that as I don't do it. But yeah, 360ing, obviously I've done it, like I've played this game for a long time. You just get used to it after a while. So I may be making it look easy and you're probably thinking, oh, I can't do this, I can't do this. But trust me, consistent practice and you will learn it. But I would say the 360 and the moonwalk are probably... the moonwalk isn't really vital. I'd say the 360's kind of helps in some situations if you're not against very good killers, or if you are against good killers, if you're good enough actually with your movement, you can get some of the killers off with it. It's actually it's actually pretty cool. So yeah, the moonwalk, you don't really need to learn. It's kind of like show off style points. If you're doing dupe montages, it's nice. Or if you just want to learn something to show off to your friends or something, or it's cool. Like I learned it because I just thought it was cool, and I kind of flex it a little bit, even though a lot more people are learning it nowadays. Anyway, let's go into the backwards moonwalk, or you could call this the backwards moonwalk, but we're going to call this the reverse moonwalk, and we're going to call this the other one the backwards moonwalk. So the same thing applies, AD, AD, but instead of holding W and catching it forwards, you want to catch it facing towards you, so the back side. So you want to do AD, AD this way, and catch it the opposite way. So catch here, AD, AD, while you're holding S, not W. So this is the normal moonwalk. You want to catch there, AD, AD, while holding S and shift, like that. And also guys, if you want to practice moonwalking a lot easier, get injured. Trust me, when you're injured, for some reason, I don't really know the proper reasons, but it's actually easier to moonwalk when you're injured. It's a lot easier to moonwalk when you're injured. So yeah, it's actually a lot harder to do when you're not. I have no idea why that's the case, but it is. So yeah, anyway, back to it. The 360 WDSA, just as an example, I'm doing it clockwise. I'm more comfortable with it this way instead of anti-clockwise, but I could do it this way. So WDSA, keep doing it until you want to get the catch. WDSA, 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 and then catch. And then DA, 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 DA. Hold shift and S. And that's basically it, guys. There's not a lot to it, but it is quite difficult to learn when you're first learning. But once you understand it, and you understand how to do it, even if you can't do it consistently, but you understand how it works, and you can start to get, like, when I first was doing it, I was doing it really quick, but I was doing this like, oh my god, I'm moonwalking, and then you realise that you don't have to do it too quick. That was my problem when I was moonwalking for the first time. I was doing it very fast, like I was going fast, but you just don't have to do that. It's very, like, you have to have a good rhythm like this, you know, not too quick on the A and D. Make sure you have enough rhythm. And yeah, that's basically it for this section. We're going to move on now to the third section, which is how to turn corners and turn around objects while you're moonwalking. So let's go. Alright guys, here we are. So you've mastered, by this point I hope you would have mastered 360 or learnt how to 360, you know how it works, you know how to moonwalk. So what's next? I would say how to turn whilst moonwalking is the next thing we need to know. So basically when you are moonwalking normally, you're not moving your mouse, right? You're not moving your mouse at all. But if you slowly incorporate little movements like this with your camera, you can go around objects, but it's not so simple. Basically, if I'm going around right like this, you have to kind of press your A a little bit less. So you kind of keep pressing. Right, so if I'm going around this corner, you want to keep pressing D and like not pressing A as much because you're turning. So you want to keep pressing D the same speed you would, but A you want to keep pressing a little bit less. So you're going round like this, but basically you want to be only moving your mouse a tiny bit, following your camera. You want to keep it straight. You want to keep your camera straight. Okay, so you're moonwalking and you're slowly turning your camera. And right there you could see, if you was watching my keyboard, you could see that I wasn't pressing A as much, like as fast when you're going around a corner, because if you do it the same speed as you're turning, it's just much harder. You have to make sure you're doing it a lot less. I'm going to try and get a good one for you as a good example. Stickles, good old Blood Lodge. So like, you can actually keep going if you're very consistent with it. Like, that was quite a good one. You can go round objects. This kind of, like, I'm going to keep this section kind of short because, to be honest, this is kind of just for style. Like, there's no really like big impact this has. You want to keep it simple, but yeah, it's kind of for style, I guess. It's kind of like that next thing. Like for me, the reason I wanted to learn all these maneuvers is because, you know, I played the game. I'd played everything, dude. I wanted to just learn the most. Why not? What else is there to learn, you know? Like, I've played the game, I've played all the killers, I've pretty much played around with all the perks. I want to learn master all the mechanics now, right? So yeah, if you're a mastery, like, you want to master stuff like me, like a completionist, I suppose, and yeah, that's why. But anyway, I'm waffling on. Turning whilst moonwalking is kinda like, you don't need to know it. It's kinda just a flex. To be honest, it kind of is. But yeah, we're going to move on to the fourth section now, which is integrating flashlights into 360 and moonwalks. So yeah, let's get into the section. Okay guys, so we are in the fourth section of the video, which is integrating flashlights into the 360 and moonwalks. And what I mean by this is flashlights are actually very, very helpful. With a flashlight, if a killer is chasing you and he's very close, you don't have a time to do a wind up, let's say. But if he's chasing you, you can tap your flashlight and as you see it instantly turns you 180 degrees. So with this, if a killer's chasing you, you can tap and then you can instantly spin. Instantly 360. So let's say killer's chasing me, I'm running. He's very close, so I can't do a wind up and spin. I just have to go either for the spin like this, or to throw him off a little bit, you can click your flashlight, depending on which way you run. As you click your flashlight, depending on which way you're kind of facing, you will run right or left. So if I'm facing more to the right, I'm going to go, well, actually I think it's very random. It seems to be random. But as you can see, as I'm tapping and running back, I'm either going left or I'm going right. So you want to keep an eye on that. So if I'm running, I tap, I go left, you want to spin right. So, let's try this again. I'm running from the killer, tap, I go left. I think that was left. I didn't even pay attention, to be honest. I'm going to run, tap, right. I was a bit slow on that. But once you get used to the way you're going, or you can do a flick. Okay, so I'm running away from the killer, I tap, I spin. You see what I mean? You can use the flashlight to your advantage, so you can like, you can kind of tap to turn yourself, to get ready to spin, to get ready to the 360, to get ready to wind up. If you want to get on that wind up to get the catch, you can do that. So you're running, tap, spin. Running this way, tap, spin. That wasn't a very good example because I didn't spin very well, but like this. So you're running, tap, spin. That was a great example, yes, very, very good. So you're running, tap, spin. It's easier than just going like this and running away and then trying to wind up spin. Like that wasn't a good example. Like you're running, trying to wind up spin, or you're just running and you just want to throw the bait, throw the spin. You can throw them off with a quick flashlight and then a really quick spin. The flashlight turns you that quick that you can just spin straight away. You can start spinning. It's great. So that's basically integrating the flashlights into 360s. It's basically just turning you while you're in a chase to help you to spin, to help you get that position. Because if the killer's very close, you don't have a lot of time to react. You're going to just want a flashlight. You can spin fast. And now Moonwalks into 360s. This is kind of a style again. Not exactly. There's a lot of jukes that involve in moonwalking. You can probably figure this out in gameplay yourself. Like especially nurses, like if you have a nurse, moonwalks throw nurses off quite often actually. I can tap behind me to start a new moonwalk, right? This isn't like a necessity, you don't have to know how to do this, but if you're running, tap, you can moonwalk. You can tap yourself into the moonwalk basically, because it instantly turns you into that like catch, is what I call it. Like when we were learning the 360 at the start, catch, right? The catch there. The flashlight instantly puts you on that catch, so you can instantly start doing D and A straight away. See what I mean? So it's kind of like, yeah, it's nice. It's nice. The flashlight can actually help with your movement a lot, just because of the rotations that it does. So yeah, it's nice. So basically, as you're running, you can moonwalk. You can tap to moonwalk. It's very simple actually. You don't have to do any of this wind up, the WADSA, WASD. As soon as you tap your flashlight, you just DA while you're still holding W and shift or S and shift. It'll be S and shift if you're doing it this way, obviously. We'll do a little little tech there. Alright, so now we're moving on to the fifth section, which is static 360. And I've put this in this section because it's not really a necessity to learn, but like I said, if you guys are completionists and you like to master the movement in the game, why not? Why not teach you guys this if you don't know it? I don't know what else to call this. I call it the static 360 because I actually have no idea what it's called, so I named it. If one of you can tell me what it's called, then that'd be great. But yeah. Okay, so the static 360 is fairly easy. It's kind of hard to do on low sensitivity, hence why you probably never see me do it in videos or anything, because I play in a very, very low DPI. So basically what it is a static 360. A normal 360 you're used to it, it's like this. I call it a static 360 because it's kind of like you're not really moving a lot, but you are at the same time. It's strange. Basically you're sprinting, hold S, and as you're holding S you have to keep moving your mouse right. So it's like this, right? This surprisingly works a lot as well on killers. They just don't suspect it. It's literally the same as a 360, but it just looks different. Like I said, if you guys are doing juke montages and stuff, this is gonna this is gonna look cool, right? So you're sprinting. If you're holding S now, you're moving right, but you're moving it at the same type of speed, so you're keeping up. If you move it too much, you're going to do this. So if I'm moving my mouse right too much, I'm just going to flip. But if I'm moving it just about right, I should get... Wait, I don't do this very often actually, but I know how. So you're holding S, you're moving like this, right? It's kind of on the spot, but you're still 360ing. And then if you do it the other way, it's like you hold A, you're moving left. So you want to keep your mouse up just enough that you get this kind of animation. So you're still spinning. I've put my DPI up for this. So let's say we'll do it again. Let's do it again as an example. You hold D, so you're running left, right, but then you move your mouse right as well. But you don't do it too much and you don't do it too little. You have to get that good balance in the middle. If you get the balance in the middle, then you will get this type of animation. It's kind of hard for me to keep it up. See if I can do it if I move my DPI up again. Like I say, I don't have a lot of space to work with, but it's kind of like this animation. So D, you're holding it, you're moving it. So you're holding D, you're moving right like this. You know, you're getting that animation. This will work the same as a 360. If you 360 a killer like this, try sometimes doing that. It's kind of hard to. It's actually very easy to learn. It's a very easy thing to learn. I probably could have put it at the front of this video, but the only reason I put it here is because a normal 360, even though it's harder to learn, it's harder to learn but a lot easier to pull off in situations, the normal 360. Like you're in a chase with a normal 360, it's a lot easier to just pull it off. This one you kind of need like time and a bit of room, or you have to be really fast to do it, to like pull it off like quickly, right? So yeah, basically, again, you hold D. If you're holding shift and D when you're running right, you move right on the mouse. So you move far right on the mouse. You want to keep this motion like this, like a 360. And yeah, that's about it. You do the exact same the other way. Hold shift, A, move the mouse left. Try and catch your player model. So it's like this. And yeah, that's basically a different way to 360. I'm calling it the static 360 until someone tells me who it came from, what it's called. That's what I'm calling it here. So yeah, that's basically that. So let's move on to the sixth section, which is sideways moonwalking. Okay guys, here we are. We're on the sixth section now, which is sideways moonwalking, and this is actually... Okay, these next three, the 6th, 7th and 8th section are very, very, very hard. I'm not the best at them myself, but I will try and show you. Basically, sideways moonwalking is just like moonwalking, but sideways, obviously. So if I'm moonwalking this way, this is like what the reverse moonwalk or the normal moonwalk, whatever you want to call it. But the sideways moonwalk is very, very... It's very weird to do. You basically want to do this, but you want to use W and S and D. So you're doing it sideways like that kind of motion. It's hard to get it consistent. You probably won't see a lot of people doing it because it's kind of finicky to do it. But to get it consistent as well is very hard. But it's the exact same motion as a normal moonwalk. But you want to stop sideways to get the catch sideways on. So you want to move right. If you want to go that way, you're going to catch here. You want your model here before you start doing the W, S and then holding D. I don't know why I'm holding F there. So like, yeah, I'm going to try and get a consistent one for you to kind of show. Like that, kind of. It's a lot harder to get it consistent. To get a... There you go. You kind of saw it, right? You're not going to move your mouse at all for this. So basically, you want that wind up like you would. So WASD. But you want to catch it on A. So you want to go to A, SW, SW like this. This is kind of a weird one, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it in game, to be honest. These are kind of just ones that if you want to mess around with, or maybe you get a cool intro for like a Duke montage video or an edit. I don't know, but this is a very hard one to do, because tapping W and S while you catch this is kind of hard. I don't even know how I'm doing it. I think I'm cracked, guys. I don't really know. It's kind of, yeah, like I said, this isn't one that you're going to be consistently doing every game, trust me on that. But, you know, the very advanced, very, very, very advanced experienced players are going to know how to do this. Probably people very consistent with it, actually. I've just not seen it, but I'm getting a few decent ones here. But yeah, it's much, much harder to do than a normal moonwalk. But as you can see, it looks very cool, looks very weird. So yeah, you basically want to catch it on the WS, WS, WS while you're holding D. So you want to get it, you're spinning, you let go, D, you hold D and then WS, right? And it's the exact same the other way. You'll hold A and WS as well. D, D, WS, WS. That's such a weird animation or something there, which is kind of sad. Something in the way. WS. WS, 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 WS. There you go, that was a nice one. That was a decent one. And you'll do the exact same the other way around. So yeah, basically guys, that's the best way I can explain how to sideways moonwalk. It's just the same as normal moonwalk, except for you're going to be, instead of holding W and doing AD, you're going to either hold D or A and do W and S as your middles. Anyway, we're going to move on to the 7th category now, which is the diagonal moonwalk, which is I would probably say even harder to do. Alright guys, so welcome to the next section of the guide. This is the diagonal moonwalking section. This is the 7th section. And yeah, diagonal moonwalks, they're kind of hard to pull off, but they work the same as any other moonwalk except for you have to get a different angle. A normal moonwalk you'd get the catch facing this way, facing towards you, so you'd get the catch there. If you did the other moonwalk, it would be towards the screen, so it would be this way. And yeah, so basically the diagonal, you basically want the catch in any diagonal direction, whether it be over this way, here, here, or here, right? So you have to get the catch when you're on a diagonal, and it doesn't work like W, AD, AD like a normal moonwalk. You actually use W and D. If you're facing that way, you would use W and D, and I would recommend this be the only way you kind of learn how to diagonal moonwalk if you wanted to learn it, as W and D are much easier to press than like W and A if you were going down like, yeah, it's much more finicky and kind of hard to pull off if you're going to be holding S and then, yeah, like S and A, yeah, it's kind of awkward. So yeah, basically guys, what you want to do, you're going to wind up like you would in any other moonwalk. You wind up. When you get the catch like a normal moonwalk, you want to do it diagonal, and instead of holding W shift and then AD, you want to catch it diagonal like here, and then let me show you as an example. So you go and then WD, right? So WD when you catch the diagonal. It's very hard, I'm not super consistent at it, but you get it on the diagonal, WD, WD, you get the idea, right? So you spin like a normal moonwalk to wind into it, get it on the, you gotta catch it. Like, I'm not used to catching it on a diagonal because I don't do it diagonal very often. Pretty much all there is to this. Obviously you can do it the other directions like I said, but I would only recommend learning this one because the other directions are, I mean, they're hard, but you can do them. And yeah, they're it's a very strange one to learn, but this is kind of like a flex one, a flex moonwalk. Doesn't really do a lot for you, to be fair. It's very hard to get a consistent one, but I'm going to try and get a good one as an example. And there we go. That was not a bad one. We're still going. Okay, there we go. That wasn't a bad one. And if you just follow my actions on my keyboard on the right side, you can see how I do it. You basically just want to stop the moonwalk when you're diagonal, like I said. W, D, WD, WD. Yeah, basically you want to be doing it. You want to be doing W and D if you're going like the 45-degree angle, which is this way. WD. You can even turn whilst you're doing it. It's kind of hard to get the timing down, but you can learn it like this. This is me doing the side diagonal B hop. I was gonna say B hop. That's my counter right coming back to me there. But no, that's the diagonal movement while you're turning. You can also do that. I think you can also Ayrun tech as well at the same time, but I'm not going to do that yet because we haven't got to that section. But yeah, guys, that is basically it for the diagonal moonwalk. It's just the same as any other moonwalk, except for you catch it at a different angle and use W and S. W and D, sorry, instead of the other keys that you would usually be pressing, which would be A and D. You're using W and D if you're going to be going 45 degrees. So yeah, let's move on to the final section of the video, which is the Ayrun tech and the reverse Ayrun tech. So yeah, let's go. Okay guys, so here we are. We're going to be doing the Ayrun tech right now. I'm going to show you how to do the Ayrun tech and the reverse Ayrun tech. The one that is most useful is probably the normal Ayrun tech. It's actually the easiest to perform, and it actually can be really good against hillbillies when they're trying to chainsaw you. It can throw them off. It can also get nurses as well, especially if you have dead hard as well. It can also combine well with the Ayrun tech because you're going to be moonwalking backwards doing the Ayrun tech, and then you can dead hard forwards, or you can just spin or turn. It'll throw the nurses blink off, and it also works against huntresses as well sometimes. So yeah, basically The only difference to this is it's the exact same as a moonwalk backwards towards the camera. You get the catch. And by the way, guys, I would only recommend you learn this if you've pretty much mastered moonwalking. You know how to moonwalk. You can do it consistently. So basically, it's going to be the same as this moonwalk right here. You're going to get the catch. You're going to go backwards, and then what you want to do, if I stop, is when you press D, you want to move your camera 45 degrees to the right, and when you click A, you want to move your camera 45 degrees to the left. So basically, it looks a little bit like this, if I can do it. Guys, you're basically going to want to spin into it like a normal moonwalk, and as you're moonwalking, look right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, as you're doing A and D, as you normally would. So you'll be doing AD, and you'll be moving your mouse the same direction you're moving. So it looks a little bit like that. Yeah, I can get it kind of consistently, to be fair. This is probably the most useful one. Like I said, it's good against hillbillies, nurses, huntresses in some situations. But this one is like, I know, it's another one of those things that's kind of like a big flex, you know. So you can turn left, right, AD, AD, while you're moving your mouse in the same direction. That was a much better one, actually. So yeah, basically, as soon as you spin into it, get the catch, moonwalk like you normally would, but then you can do it a little bit slower. As you can see, my A and D, and you're always going to be holding S, of course. Your A and D will be a bit slower because you're moving your camera with it as well. So you get this motion here, and that is the Ayrun tech. So now, after you get this and you practice this for a while, I would recommend learning this one first, because this is the much easier one. So yeah, once you learn that one first, you can do the reverse Ayrun tech, or the one that goes forwards, whatever way you want to call it. And this one is much harder, and basically it's the exact same thing, but you'll be doing W like a normal moonwalk, but you'll be moving your mouse the opposite way to what you're pressing. So if you're pressing A, when you're doing AD and you're pressing A, you want to move your camera right, and when you press D, you want to move your camera left. So it looks a little bit like this, if I can get it. Yeah, a little bit like that. It looks a little bit like that. I'm trying to do it a little bit more consistent for you guys, but you want to be going right. When you're going, I can't really say it while I'm doing it because it's a bit backwards and it throws me off. You'll just have to watch my my movements. You've just got to make sure you do your mouse the opposite way to the button you're pressing to get it consistent. And I will tell you now, this is a lot harder to learn than the other one we just did, the reverse Ayrun tech. So shout outs though. Yeah, so the Ayrun tech, I'm going to try and get some more consistent ones and some more good examples. Yeah guys, there's not a lot more to say about the Ayrun tech. It's just the same as a normal moonwalk, except for you're going to be putting some mouse movement into it, and you don't want to be too harsh with the mouse movements. If you're doing the normal Ayrun tech, you want to be moving the mouse the opposite way of the keys, like I said before, but you don't want to be doing it too harshly like this, or you're just going to come to a stop. You want to kind of, if I can get a consistent one for you, I will, you have to be careful with your camera movements, not too sharp. So yeah guys, that's about it for my advanced movement tutorial. I hope you came away with this learning something new. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I tried my best to explain everything. Like I said at the start of the video, I have never really made a tutorial video, so I'm kind of trying to, you know, like explain things as I do them. So I'm hoping something came off clear to you guys, so you at least learned something. If you liked the video, please subscribe and leave a like. This did take me a long time to do everything to perfect the movements I hadn't already perfected, to show them to you guys. So yeah, see you guys in the next video, and peace.